Our first guest is a teaching artist, folklore dancer, and jewelry designer who maintains a commitment to decolonizing her life. She brings forth multiple facets of creativity through movement medicine, adornment, and beauty practices with her business, Vibes Energy Ashe, an umbrella of all of her professional endeavors. Each element of her work interweaves to form a holistic approach to artistry and entrepreneurship where traditional practices meet contemporary needs while keeping human dignity and cultural expression at the forefront. Everyone, joining us now to share more, please welcome teaching artist, folklore dancer, therapist, and jewelry designer, Jinae Suire. Hello and welcome.
Hello, Rhina La Arena.
Thank you. Thank
a
you for
pleasure.
that.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being
Thank you.
here. And wow, just going through everything that you do and everything that I want to say Vibes Energy Ashe encompasses, it's very clear that you work intentionally. Now, I will say I got stopped by the term therapy.
Therapist,
Therapist.
yes.
Well, that would be therapy, but you're the
Yes,
therapist,
yeah.
right? That's a pretty cool title.
Yeah.
Or a pretty cool name. I don't know if that's part of your brand. So let's walk
Yeah.
us through the different parts of Vibes Energy Ashe.
Okay. So I've been basically creating. I'm from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, born in Jackson, Mississippi. And I've been in New York since 1989. So my life started in St. Thomas School of Dance, surrounded around Caribbean culture and art. And I've always worked with beads. I've always been very connected to earth and nature. I've been molded by amazing mentorship in my life. So as an older adult, I decided, and I was very intentional about creating a life that encompassed all of my visions, all of who I am, to grow in all of them, and why not shoot for myself?
No,
So that's what I do.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And it's important that we have this conversation about not limiting oneself, right? Because in society, we are raised to believe that we should be focused on one thing and aim for one thing at a time, or live the picket fence life. And when you're an artist or creative, it's a little challenging to just really marry yourself to one thing when in reality artistry is a variation of things. As a matter of fact, life is artistry, right? And so I find it extremely admirable when I come across individuals such as yourself who are able to find a way to sustain, knowing that it's important for them to live with a certain level of integrity and honing in and honoring what it is that really they're passionate about and what
Yeah.
moves them, and also what will be your legacy,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so the fact that you are a therapist, right? So obviously you work in the hair arena,
Industry,
right?
yes.
Right, the hair industry, right? And so I don't really know to what capacity. I know that you were working up until like the pandemic more regularly,
Yeah.
and then you created this exclusive experience once the pandemic kicked in, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I also understand that somebody endowed you with that name.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then you kept it.
Yes.
So let's talk really briefly about that, because I really want to get into your jewelry and your dancing
Yeah.
and just how it all kind of like complements each other.
So everything has been an evolution and a revolution, a self-revolution. I basically was on my own at 14 years old. I put myself back in school as an esthetician first, doing skincare. Started really working holistically to make my own skincare products. I was always beading in between. I got reconnected with dance in Manhattan with a teacher called Baba Richard Gonzalez, who did an Afro-Caribbean fusion, and then became to really connect all of the dots spiritually with all of the things that I do, right? So, and then the growth and development just took off from there. And I said, why do I need to separate all the things I do. They're all very connected.
Right.
With art, with health, with wellness. So, yeah.
So you said you've been on your own since you were 14.
Yeah.
Is that when you were in St. Thomas?
No, that was here in New York City, actually.
You were here?
Yeah.
How did you end up in St. Thomas? I'm very curious about that.
So my father's from Santurce, Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
And I was born in Mississippi in 1973. So he was probably, not a big Puerto Rican community in Jackson, Mississippi,
Right.
And my mother followed my aunts to the Virgin Islands. So as I reflect back in my connections, right, like who am I as a person? How do I reconnect? Because I really got to know my Puerto Rican roots in New York City, in the New Yorican diaspora. That's really what brought me back home, But I had the foundation in St. Thomas Virgin Islands, which is very Caribbean,
Right.
West Indian, Black Caribbean,
Right.
So how do I get to be who I am today, where I'm at today? And I really think that's through spirit, I'm a big believer in, sitting with ancestors and learning how to connect the whys in life. And I think some of it is planning, but I think a lot of it is ancestral and how spirit moves us through our life, right?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel
Yeah.
everything you're saying, right? Because there's
Yeah.
this certain level of intuition that has guided you. But then, of course, you have to be in action in order to
Yes.
have it come into fruition. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling you. I hear you. I hear you
Yeah.
loud and clear. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And everything that from what I've experienced in researching you, it has its own it's its own magic. It really is, which is why you're here. Because I was like, oh my gosh, we have to share this with our viewers.
Yes.
And so the therapist aspect of it is really you putting your hands on people's heads, like if we want to talk about it, in
Yeah.
that, and their crowns
Yes.
and beautifying them.
Yes. From
Right.
the inside in.
Right.
Because my saying is beauty exudes but begins within.
Right.
And how can we get back in contact with ourselves and connect with ourselves so we can know that the superpower that's charged within us, right? And how do we radiate that? So many women and men come sit in my chair and, it's usually a superficial industry, how do we look? We all like to look good.
Right.
But, feeling good and being one with oneself in today's society is so hard.
Yeah.
And, also like shifting the hair industry as well, shifting the dance industry, shifting just life. That's why I say decolonizing myself, unlearning to relearn.
Right.
Right? So in everything I do, you bring that aspect forth.
Right. I love that. Right. So it's a form of brainwash. Right. And I mean that in a good way. I mean that in a good way. I just wrote that down because I think it's necessary. And really that only comes from spending that time with self. Right. And so we just spoke about the hair a little bit, and then there's the dance. So now we're talking about the body, and we're talking about the movement. We're talking about communicating from within through what your body's capable of doing, but you can only do so if you are in touch with that aspect of our existence.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So talk about the styles that you've chosen to really not only hone, but now pass on to the next generation. Because I've seen some videos of you working with the next generation.
Yes. So me being already a initiate in La Regla de Ocha, I was already in the religion of Lukumi, right? And when I found Afro-Cuban dance, right, and I was able to connect those movements through my mentors and my elders, I'm part of a dance company called Oyu Oro, Afro-Cuban Experimental Dance Ensemble. The producer and the director is Danis Perez Prada from Santiago de Cuba. So she's one of my elders, one of my mentors in dance, as well as another dancer, Hilset Mora, who's also from Raíces Profundas in Cuba, right? So these are people who have gone through the struggle of living on the island, right, as Cuban people, right? With all the information and the knowledge, ancestral as well as what they have learned with the hugest art community in Cuba, and have brought it here. And I've been lucky enough and blessed enough to be able to learn and be mentored by them in the dance.
In the traditions of the dance, not just the dance movements, right?
Yes, in the traditions of the dance. So after dancing and studying as a student, and I'm always a student, I decided I'm a Bronx resident. I've lived in the Bronx for over 25 years. It's not the only borough I've lived in, but this movement has helped my life. It's helped me overcome so many challenges, professionally and personally. So when I dance, it's elevated my spirit. It's been my way to connect spiritually. It's been my way to connect ancestral. It's been my way to connect with community, the diaspora and community. How am I going to bring this to people of the Bronx? Like, this is more than just a dance class. This is medicine.
Right.
Medicine for the soul.
Right.
So I created a dance class, Ocan y Miel, which translates to heart and honey, and movement medicine. So how can I bring this medicine to community? Because if it changed my life, and I just hope to be able to give back in some way what was given to me, and share some knowledge of what I know, because I don't know anything in this world, but the little that I know, if I could pass it to somebody, why not?
Well, it's beautiful to walk around with that level of humility, right? I'm a student of life as well, so I get it. But when it comes to your classes, are you teaching the next generation, adults? Is it intergenerational?
So I think my class is a little bit different because I was trained by, master dancers. Well, I hate the word master, but like experienced generational dancers, right? Who come from this. And I don't come from this, so I want to be able to connect with everybody, but on a deeper level. So it's not just a class where you're going to learn the moves or learn about Orisha. You're going to learn to really connect the spiritual part, the spiritual aspect. Like, how can this move me? Like, what are we doing in these dances? What does the movement mean? How is it connecting with the movement? And also putting respect on where it came from. So not skipping the folklore, not skipping the people that it came from, not skipping, the Africanness, not skipping... the people in Cuba who held on and worked so hard to maintain this, and how we got it here in New York, right? So to be able to do that is a privilege.
That's beautiful.
And I don't take it lightly, and
no, you can tell that you take everything you do very seriously. And on that note, we have to transition into your gems, because so we did crown, and then we did movement medicine, and now we're going to do the gems that come from the earth.
Yes.
Right? I love the jewelry you're wearing now.
Thank you
I'm
so
going to
much.
assume that's your jewelry.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create intentional gems, right? And I had a beautiful Boricua artist, Livia Nieves, who did my logo. It's the Taino sun, with the hands holding it, right?
Nice.
So intentional gems, I really created so it's like custom crafted for dope souls, right? So to connect us. So like mother, son, brothers, people who want to get something created for them and maybe like their partner, their other half, and custom create it for them. So that's what I've done. And I've done just a few little pop-ups in, a few places. Most of my stuff is really custom ordered. So and I just work off of spirit, elements of nature, and
Yeah, and then there's the energy that you pass on.
Yeah, and I brought you something.
You did, because it made with your hands, right?
Yes, yes.
So this
and
is
I
for
said
me.
last night, I said, I got to bring something for La Arena. Something special for her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So this is for me.
Yes,
so
that's for you.
I can open it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm excited because first of all, I love gems. So I'm a gem lover. And even more, I'm a caracol lover.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous.
And I have collections, so this is part of my recent collection where I'm incorporating words and stuff. Yeah, and my leather, reconstructed leather. So I don't purchase leather. I buy or reconstruct old leather.
Okay, so I just want you guys to know, I don't know if you're going to be able to really focus in on the letters, but one side says Rhina and the other side says La Reina, and these are caracoles, which in the past they were referred to as currency. This is a way of actually paying for services.
Yes.
Do you know that?
Yeah, I do know that. Yes.
Yeah. So this really, and of course gold, for La Reina.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous.
It's just a
Wow.
little gratitude, thank you, for all you do as well in the community. You know, La Rhina, that's a title that doesn't come easy for anybody. So for you to have that title and you to be doing the work also in the Bronx and bringing us artists in is you know, gratitude.
This is beautiful. I know you guys can only see it, but this is leather as well. So, wow, this is really well thought out, and I thank you, because
Yes.
I can certainly feel the intention in it. So, it's appropriate that you would
Yes.
name your jewelry company Intentional Gems.
Yes.
Thank you, Jinae.
You're welcome.
Wow, this is beautiful. I want
Don't
to
get
change
me
my earrings up.
emotional because you know spirit starts talking and we're like, woo, you know.
Yeah, because you know,
Yeah.
I want you to intentionally receive
Yes.
my gratitude.
Thank you.
Yes,
I do.
these are beautiful. Like, I want to change my earrings now, but I'm just gonna honor the feathers that I have
Yes.
on, you know, because you know
You'll
it's about
find the
people.
time and the space.
Oh
and
my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
these are gorgeous. Yeah, and my hair is gonna be up so that you can
That's
see it
right.
in full force. Thank you so much for
Yes.
this precious, precious gift, you guys. Intentional gems. Look at this.
Yeah.
Jinae Suire, thank you.
Thank you so much, La Rhina.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Once again, you guys make sure to check out Jinae at her monthly Ocan y Miel Movement Medicine Dance Workshop. That's happening at the Bronx Music Hall located at 438 East 163rd Street in the Bronx. And for more information, you can follow Jinae on Instagram at Jinae's Juju.
Yes.
All right, stay tuned. There's more when we return.